Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 61 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. This episode is brought to you by One Effing Inc. Go to the website, the1effinginc.com/effingradart, and pick up your official Rock and Roll Beer Guy t-shirts and support the podcast. In this episode, I talked to Andy Sipes and Matt Mariska. They are the showrunners for the new YouTube Red exclusive Mike Roberts created Dallas Robo. It's an animated series featuring John Cena and Kat Denning, along with an amazing cast. Both of them actually worked on the show Code Monkeys before this. We dive into their career, and we explore a little bit about the creation of Dallas Robo. We share a few stories, and we had a great time. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Please go out and support on YouTube Red. I believe you can get a free 30-day trial if you sign up now. If not, it's well worth the $9.99 a month. And while you're at it, head on over to Amazon and pick up a digital copy of Supercon. He's featured in the movie. I make a brief appearance with my fiance. It also features John Malkovich and Mike Epps. It's a fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for listening. Cheers. Welcome, everyone, to the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. I'm sitting here in the Glendale Library in conference room B or D? I don't know. Who cares? D. I'm sitting here with the showrunners of Dallas Robo, my buddy Andy Sipes, and his writing partner, Matt Mariska. Cool. Let me sit this way so I can look at you guys. So how's it going?
Great. There's a lot of people looking at us, and we're in a fishbowl here. There's a lot of people searching for YA novels and peering through the glass.
Do they have YA novels in this library?
Big time.
Is that what it? Yeah, is that the predominant crowd?
Yeah. And the predominant crowd is homeless people masturbating.
Right. I will say this is the first time I've been in a library in maybe 10 years. I don't know.
They still exist.
I didn't know they still existed. I was like, well, isn't that what Wikipedia is? No, but we're chilling here in this conference room. You guys are sitting around nervously waiting for the release of Dallas Robo?
Yep.
That's correct. Dallas Robo comes out on YouTube Red tomorrow as we're recording this. So probably by the time you hear it, it'll be
today,
out.
already.
May 30th.
May 30th on WWE's YouTube channel. So
what? It's going through their channel?
Through their channel.
So, dude, that's huge.
Yeah,
for their 28 million subscribers.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube on the computer, http://www.youtube.com /WWE fan zone, I believe.
Fan zone, okay.
Fan zone. Or you can just type in WWE when you
Dallas Robo. Just look for Dallas Robo.
Dallas Robo should be there by the time you see this.
If anyone is wondering why this is happening, John Cena is one of the stars.
That's right. We should maybe have led with that.
He plays Robo, the hulking red robot.
Yeah.
And co-starring with him is Kat Denning, who plays Dallas.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the premise of the show is that they are Dallas is an ex-stock car racer. So it's set about 200 years in the future. Dallas is an ex-stock car racer, and Robo was her mechanic, and she got caught cheating in stock car racing and kicked off the circuit, off Earth. Big deal, and now
they work for her uncle's interplanetary trucking company called Moonshiner Trucking, which is based in Mars.
Yeah, on Mars.
On Mars. Nice. It sounds interesting, very sci-fi-ish.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's sort of like, as far as like where it fits sci-fi, like there's obvious comparisons to Futurama, but the humor is a lot different, I think, than Futurama.
You were saying before we recorded, it's a little more adult.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. It's there are swear words in it, adult themes like murder, but also like sort of, it's not that Futurama was, but like I guess if you were comparing it like to anything, it would be like sort of dirty space. Like it's like blue collar space. It's not clean and crisp and like,
and even if it was, we're hanging out with the truckers.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Right, so that might exist in the world,
sure.
But like this is like truckers and dirty
truckers
Mars
in space,
and and they're like taking like going from mining colonies on the moons of Jupiter to bars in the near the moon and stuff like that.
Any restroom, rest stop,
tons.
I've talked to you before, so like, you know that there's going to be a theme.
Andy knows his way around a restroom.
Yeah, listen, every inch.
Was there any talk about putting it on the WWE Network? Because they have a cartoon up there now, the WWE Camp or something.
WWE.
Yeah, there wasn't. You know, we pitched it and sold it to YouTube, you know, for their pay service, and then we had John Cena attached, and it was obvious to get WD and WWE involved, but mostly for, you know, the marketing and for finding an audience.
Yeah,
and it's so they're not like super controlling of him, like. Did you guys have to meet with WWE? Like, hey, let me read the script.
No,
WWE. We did have to send things through WWE, but like they were totally cool. Like,
we didn't get a notes process with them.
They didn't like lord over the whole project.
That's good.
They were fantastic.
The only thing that's happened is you know, for the first episode, the free episode on WWE's channel that is censored. It'll have bleeps instead of swear words.
Right, because it is a family company. Even though their camp show is super R-rated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but all right.
But once you subscribe, you
once
can
you
either
subscribe
watch
to
it.
YouTube Red, it's totally uncensored.
Gotcha.
You can see and hear everything.
all of the language.
All of the language.
Yeah, one of the vibes I got from the trailer that I caught, there's a video game called StarCraft.
Right.
Okay.
I got that vibe from it.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's not. I'm
take it.
immediately.
We'll take the comparison to the super successful Star Trek, StarCraft.
Yeah, you're associated with StarCraft, and you got John Cena's name. I mean, honestly, I think you guys you're in for an interesting ride.
Yeah,
we hope so. We're really proud of the show. Really happy with how it turned out. Excited for people to watch it.
Cool, man. I mean, for those that are maybe not too familiar, because mostly my audience is musicians and stuff like that, but I like to sprinkle in. Like Jay or you know. I had Dave from Lucas,
awesome.
you know. So I like to. The show used to be about beer and metal, so I would just talk to brewers and musicians. And then one day I'm like, I'm the rock and roll beer guy. I'm gonna just talk to whoever the fuck I want. You know. And I've been hounding you for a podcast. Like we've been trying to not that hounding. Hounding was the wrong word. I texted you about it, and we've been trying to coordinate. But you know, life.
I never, because you know there are a couple other you and some other friends, obviously that I have that do podcasts, but like I never feel like I'm podcastable. I'm like talk to me when there's something to talk, when I'm not ashamed of everything that I'm doing. Talk to me when I have something cool.
Yeah.
And so
timing was perfect because I mean I didn't even realize that the show was about to come out. I thought I had heard about it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, it's probably a couple months away.
Yeah.
And then I texted you randomly like, hey, you want to do the thing then? And boom.
Yes.
So perfect timing. Everyone listening that isn't familiar with you though.
Okay.
Or maybe isn't familiar with just your name straight up because you did Code Monkeys.
Right. And Matt and I both worked on Code Monkeys as well. We were the art directors on Code Monkeys. Like Code Monkeys was like a fun show.
It was like a summer camp. Like it was like 10 people in the office made that show.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
And you guys did the art directing, so all the pixel style. That's all you guys.
Yeah. We designed. Nice. Well, not all of us.
We had two amazing artists.
Yeah, Donovan and Io. Adam. He goes by Io.
Yeah.
But they were great. But we did the pilot, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And then one animator, Larry Zho. And then, and I think a couple other people, but
Andy was the voice also of Mr. Larity and Dean.
A couple of the main characters, and then Matt was the voice of Jerry. The two main characters were Dave and Jerry, and Adam De La Pena, the creator of the show, was Dave, and Matt was Jerry.
Right.
So you're Jerry.
I'm Jerry.
And no wonder, your voice sounded familiar. Yeah, dude. No, I love that show. I mean, I've watched that entire series maybe 3 times.
Oh my gosh, that's terrific.
Yeah, because I watched it the first time. I had no idea what was happening. I'm like, I like pixel art. It looks cool. Then the second time around, I'm like, that's Dana.
Yep.
And now I know him, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again with some friends. I'm like, you need to see this show.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the show's great.
That's like one of the, it's like right at that time, kind of before people were watching things on the internet. You know what I mean? It was still on television, and like I feel like it kind of got lost in the show.
That was a weird time.
Yeah.
We were transitioning to Netflix, kind of, but not really.
And it was kind of, I feel like it was kind of the perfect internet show. But
Yeah.
it just wasn't on the internet. So
has there ever been talk of bringing it back now that there's more
there's talk every like 2 years of bringing it back. We'll
I know
see.
he did.
We'd love to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I think now would be a good time now that the internet world is so viable.
Yeah.
I know that they tried to do like a space one after. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I worked on that a little bit too with De La
Space
Pena.
Ranger, Rider.
And there was also like a D&D one as well.
The D&D one, that was a Netflix thing though, right? I think.
No, he did
Or
he did
Adult Swim.
He did a pixel art show for Geek and Sundry, a YouTube channel that's run by. No, I have to turn in my geek card.
Yeah.
So there's been talk, like De La Pena's always really good about like whenever there's like something about to happen, like hey.
It could happen.
It could happen. Like send good vibes because like something could happen. So like we're always
one day the planets will align and we'll do a season 3.
Yeah, or a special.
I'm willing to bet, and this is no shots fired at anyone. I'm willing to bet if this show takes off, you're going to be getting a phone call pretty soon.
Yay!
I hope
that would be great.
Hope, yeah.
That was a fun show to work on.
Yeah, and it was like boot camp because seriously, there were like 10 to 15 people in the office, and like everybody like wore so many hats. Like we did character design, art directed, and then we also edited the show, did the voices.
Yeah,
like it was so much fun. It was a crazy little time.
Well, it sounds like a passion project type of deal where everybody roll up the sleeves. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
Especially season 1, we were there till like 3 a.m. every night.
Yeah, season 1 was.
We played a lot of foosball too.
Yeah, a lot of foos.
And it's so funny too. When the last time I revisited it, my girl Ariel, which she works at Activision.
Oh, that's so cool.
Gamevision.
And yes, exactly.
Exactly.
I was rewatching. I'm like, they're talking about Activision.
Yeah,
I know they are.
Here's how much knowledge we had of actual Activision. Zero knowledge of anything. It was just like, what's a stupid name?
Yeah.
Activision is okay. So what's the stupid version of Activision? Gamevision.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
That's dumb. All right, great.
And it's so funny. I think the reason I think that show would do well again, like now, is also that Larity is very Trumpish.
Yeah. He really is, and he's got an idiot son too.
Yeah.
There we go. Only one idiot son.
Yeah, that we know of.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, you also worked on Archer a while back. You did editing there.
Yeah, I edited the first season of Archer. That's sort of how I like cut my teeth with animation, was in the editing department. And I think it was like they make Archer in Atlanta, so I was living here in Los Angeles, and my first daughter had just born. She was 3 months old, and they were like, hey, do you want to come work on an FX show in Atlanta? And I was like, sure. And so like
and it required you moving over there?
Yeah, it required me moving to Atlanta for 9 months, and I didn't know anybody on the staff, but I was a huge fan.
And Archer was an unknown quantity.
Archer,
it wasn't a cult hit yet.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't called Archer. It had another working title. I don't even remember what it was, but like, so it was like there was nothing out about it. But I knew of Matt Thompson and Adam Reed from Frisky Dingo.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Frisky Dingo is very...
was like such a great show, and so I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so moved out there.
But see, okay, so for those not in the know, like myself, how do you get that call? Like, why is that call happening?
Here's a Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast exclusive. No, a callback. Jay Wade Edwards called me and said he was in Atlanta at the time, and said, hey, he was working on Adult Swim. He was in-house at Adult Swim, and said, hey, I know some people looking for an editor. Would you be interested? I said, sure. Talked to some people out there, and then was like on a plane like in 48 hours.
And how long have you guys all known each other? Like Dana and Jay and that little crew, the entourage?
I've known Dana since... I worked on a show called Minority that also was an Adam De La Peña show. But Dana did a voice on Minority for Adult Swim. And so that's how I met Dana. And then we did a thing for that in Philadelphia. That must have been 2006, 2007, so a long time ago.
Like an appearance or something?
Yeah, there was like a burlesque show Dana was hosting, but it was
Of course
Adult Swim themed burlesque show, and it was really great. Like Jay was there. I went. We did a Minority thing there. Me and Todd James and Pete Girardi, who were the other two creators of Minority, along with De La Peña, went to Philadelphia. I went in lieu of De La Peña, scheduling or whatever. I don't know. Oh no, he doesn't fly. De La Peña don't fly. So rather than
don't fly,
sent an avatar in his place.
So I went with them, and then also Jay was there for Aqua Teen. Jay and Dana were there for Aqua Teen. Pete and Todd and I were there for Minority, and Tim and Eric were there for Tom Goes the Mayor. And so like that was the show, and there were like local Philly burlesque dancers, and it was like a crazy show and everything. But yeah, like kind of bonded with Jay and Dana on that trip.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was fun. It was crazy. There was a big the inside joke from that was we went to one of the Philadelphia cheesesteak places, and it was Jim's. It wasn't Pat's or Gino's. It was Jim's, which I think is the best one on South Street. And I ordered double cheese whiz on my Philly cheesesteak. And it became like, it was the worst mistake I ever made. Because it was like, I'll take a steak with onions, mushrooms, and double whiz. And it was like the
and
guy,
that's when Andy's life
that's when my life
changed forever.
But so like I ordered double whiz, everybody was like, double whiz. And, yeah, it was a nightmare.
I'll have one
fun.
Sipe style.
Yeah, Sipe style Philly cheesesteak.
You think you know more than Jim's?
No, Jim put me in my place that night.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, I knew them from that, and then shortly after Minority is when we did Code Monkeys.
Right.
And I'd known Matt for forever, since like 2000. We were PAs together,
back in
like
the day.
our first job in Hollywood. And then Matt also kind of came up through editing, and when we were working together at a place before Minority, we were working at a post-production company and just doing sketches and like doing animation and pixel art, because we can't really draw very well.
Yeah, that's like
so,
pixel art because we love pixel art, but
Yeah.
also pixel art because that's the extent of what we can do.
Yeah, it was like, I can draw, I can do some pixel art. Like,
Yeah.
there's certainly people who are masters of it.
Yeah, we're not masters in any way.
But we could do like
we're-
little sprites.
Yeah, we're
and,
competent.
Yeah.
You do those on a computer, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And so Matt and I were doing like little sketches and stuff, and brought a pitch to De La Peña to go out and pitch with, and it had the pixel art style. And De La Peña said, "Well, I have this other show, Code Monkeys, that I'm making for G4,
And I need a style.
Yeah, I need a style." And he had another style that he like wasn't super thrilled with. And he was like, "This is better." And so that's how we first started working on shows together that way.
I think that's the perfect style for that show. Too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, once he saw it, he's like, "Oh, it has to be this."
Yeah.
And I
which
think
was great.
kind of everybody was that same way with that show.
Yeah,
It was like,
especially because all the stuff you guys are doing were like in between, just like a walking segment where they're discussing something that
and the
turns into a video game.
Yeah.
Like, the floor breaks down.
We loved that when we figured that out, to have them walk across the screen, get to the edge of the screen, and the whole screen slides
over, yeah.
Walk across, the whole screen slides. That was really fun.
The good news about the show is all of the time I played video games growing up was research for work.
Yeah.
Right, there
It's
you go.
not
You can
goofing
always
around.
You see, Mom?
See? Yeah.
Oh man.
And then so we did that, and then Matt was Matt worked on a bunch of other stuff. You can tell.
Tell me about it.
Edited a season of Robot Chicken after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun to work on. Stop motion is really amazing to work on because it's this neat mix of live action and animation where it's like a bunch of people behind computers doing, the post part, but then right in the other room you've got stages and grips and a DP and you know what I mean? It's like a really great mix of a live action crew. And, and everything we do in animation is just, a bunch of people sitting in front of computers. So it's not quite as exciting as a set, but worked on that and a couple other stop motion shows. Edited the first season of Frankenhole with Dino Stamatopoulos.
Oh, yep.
And the only season of Titan Maximum, which I don't think people talk about, but was a really cool show.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, very. That was another stop motion show.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, I edited the first season of BoJack Horseman for Netflix. Yeah, edited that, and then directed 2 episodes on the second season.
Nice. That show's great.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. And that's another one of those situations, kind of like Archer, where it wasn't a hit before it came out. Right, we're working on the first season, but there was an electricity to everybody working on the show. Everyone kind of knew it was something special, and it's exciting that it's been received that way.
Yeah, I'm glad people are receiving it well because, I mean, I could see how it would come off as people like, it's a bunch of animals talking.
Exactly.
But I was in from when I heard Will Arnett. I'm a fan of the guy, so
absolutely.
I was like, all right, I mean, I don't care what it is. We're watching this.
It's interesting because the first couple reviews that did come out for the show kind of dismissed it. Kind of famously,
reviewed, like the first 4 episodes,
right?
Or something,
and they're like, "Man, it's animal puns and whatever," and not. And then like the whole season dropped, and I think there was even like some like review retractions as people were like,
nice.
"I made a terrible error. The show's amazing." But
nice. Yeah, you can't. I had nothing to do with the show, but like you can't watch the show at least. Like, it's so much better as a whole. Like, the episodes are great individually, in my opinion, but...
I feel the same way about Dallas and Robo, Andy, that the only way to truly watch it is to subscribe to YouTube and watch our 8 episodes
only
all
$9.99 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
You might even get a free month, right?
There's a free trial.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. You get the free trial, and you watch Dallas and Robo, and then do whatever you want to.
Whatever. Just watch the whole thing.
It's free. Just watch every episode of Dallas and Robo, and then...
How many episodes are coming out?
8.
8.
Yeah,
and
that seems to be the standard now, right?
Yeah, there's 8 or 10, sometimes 12, but like not much.
That's
more
about what's accomplishable in a year, unless you get a much larger crew.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone really wants a much larger crew.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to say goodbye. I mean, especially in our shoes, you have to say goodbye to a little bit of the ownership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Split off into 2 different teams or something. Like as it is, we still get to be heavily involved in everything, but it can still be finished in a year.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that it takes that long.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, and did you do a voice on there as well?
No.
Neither of you
do voices on
We
it.
didn't do
Okay.
voices on this one.
We left this one to the professionals.
Yeah, we were like, John Cena. All right, you can do the voice.
I think he's got it. I mean,
we have a great cast. The cast is like across the board.
Let's brag about the cast for a second.
Yeah.
John Cena, Kat Denning are the leads, obviously, and then
They're amazing.
They're amazing. Kat's great. Like Kat's like the best. Like instantly, there was.
We're instantly best friends.
Yeah, like she's just like I don't know. There's just something about her and this character that she just owned it. Like she just came in from the first moment, and it was just like
owned it, and then you're like, oh, this couldn't have gone another way.
Yeah.
Like if this had been 1% different, nothing would have worked. Like it only works with her.
Yeah, so it was great.
Good.
Like we got so lucky with her. And then so they work at a trucking company called Moonshiner Trucking. Sorry. I had Taco Bell for lunch.
Her uncle is played by Stephen Root.
Yeah, Stephen Root,
an amazing actor
from
who you would know
Everything.
from Everything.
Yeah,
but
you know him from
he's in Barry right
Barry now, and King of the Hill. Obviously.
Who's he in Barry?
He's Fuchs in Barry.
Oh,
yeah.
Milton.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. No, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. And then his daughter, Dallas's cousin, is played by Milana Weintraub, who's awesome. She's like she's been in a lot of. She was in Silicon Valley a couple of times.
She's hilarious.
Mostly known for being the AT&T girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But she is so wacky. She was like so great, and again, like didn't know the show's budget was such that we just were like making offers to people. We're like, here's somebody that we like the sound of their voice. Let's offer the role to them. Like, we didn't even have anybody read for anything. It was just like, here's a good sounding voice. Let's offer them the part. And she came in and again blew away expectations.
Yeah.
Nice. Dana Snyder's in the show.
Unfortunately. We're contractually obligated to hire him, sadly.
That scoundrel, Dana Snyder.
No, he's amazing, of course.
We
could not do television without Dana.
Yeah. And then also Tim Blake Nelson is in it.
Nice.
And he's like, he was great.
Plays the woodsman, kind of a teammate / foil for Dallas and Robo. He worked for the same company, and they're family, in quotes, but they drive each other crazy.
Anytime you can get like Tim Blake Nelson, anytime you get people that like the Coen brothers are like, we have to work with this guy, get him. Like,
of
the
course.
Coen brothers know what's going on.
They know what's
Speaking
up.
of Coen brothers, also Clancy Brown is in the show.
Clancy Brown's in the show.
Nice.
Plays a mysterious stranger without a name.
Yeah, and Jane Lynch is in the show, who is so great.
She kind of plays the big bad for the season.
Okay.
Carol the Biker King.
Yeah, Steve Little, who from Eastbound and Down, Taron Killam from Saturday Night Live. I'm missing somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, Nat Faxon and Brie Williamson play sort of a vacationing couple that are kind of traveling around. So, it's great. Like, the whole cast is great. Yeah.
I'm excited.
So
I'm excited for it. I mean, I've been meaning to get myself a YouTube Red because of Cobra Kai.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just watch ours first.
Yes.
And then
watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Those are the instructions. Subscribe to YouTube Red, watch all 8 episodes of Dallas and Robo, then start on Cobra Kai. Because it's
that afternoon. Because I'm assuming you'll do that tomorrow morning, on the 30th, and then in the afternoon.
Yeah, you don't have a day job, so 9 to 5 tomorrow is all 8 episodes. Yeah. How long are the episodes?
22 and a half, like standard TV.
Standard television-ish time.
Not standard Adult Swim 12 seconds time.
No, real television.
Real television.
Real television on YouTube.
It's so crazy. I just bought a new TV, and the guy had to warn me. He's like, by the way, this TV does not have a TV tuner.
Oh, that's interesting.
The same way I got one of those.
And I looked at it and I'm like, so it's not a TV?
Nope.
Technically, it's a monitor.
It's a monitor.
Technically
it's
a monitor.
It's a giant monitor.
There's like a weird even legal or trade distinction.
And it didn't really dawn on me then. I was just like, that's cool, man. I don't really use cable. I stream everything. It's either YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. I don't need it. And then it made me realize, is this what's happening? Like, TV is going away. Yeah, There's nobody who's watching TV anymore.
I still have DirecTV, but we'll see.
But that's even that's a little different because that's satellite.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no terrestrial, cable.
But I find I don't even though I've taped the latest episode of Westworld, it's quicker to go to the app and watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I'm assuming sports would be the only reason now at this point,
right? Andy,
and even then,
I watch some sports, but even then, YouTube is doing sports. Like YouTube is doing. They were a big sponsor of the World Series last year.
Yeah.
And so...
Wow, Andy, YouTube sounds terrific.
Yeah, YouTube. It is.
They've been a very essential platform to catapult many careers.
Yeah, absolutely. And legit careers, too. We were just... we were talking with a guy named Brendan Dormer, who the other day, he's like, yeah, YouTube, I credit my whole career. He created the show What Would Diplo Do on Vice Channel.
Okay.
But he kind of got known through the music videos he directed. People would watch them on YouTube. They were legit music videos, but where do you watch music videos? You watch music videos on YouTube.
Yeah, and there's a couple places that try, like the Vimeo and all, that's fine.
Right.
Everybody's on YouTube.
Everyone's on YouTube.
Yeah. Even Twitch, people, there's Twitch, but most people watch gaming on YouTube.
Yeah, don't people upload their games to YouTube?
Yeah. They
probably even their Twitch stream.
You can watch your Twitch stream, but then also you can watch it later on YouTube.
Yeah. It's a great platform, and we're not just saying this obviously for whatever reasons. I've been using it since I was young. I mean, that's where I posted up all my band's music videos when we were coming up, or live footage, or when I'd go to a concert, I'll film it and put it on YouTube. Where else are you going to put it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But that's great. And then during the recording process, did you guys all meet up? Is this something that was like John Cena just sent you stuff?
No. So he would come in. So contrary to what most people think, like you do in animation, you record the voices first. A lot of people, like if it's animation that was done overseas, like it's like an anime or something, they bring it here. Obviously, then it has to be dubbed. Like any movie would have to be dubbed. But original animation, the first thing you do is record all the voices. You
with
edit,
nothing visual to go by.
Nothing visual whatsoever. Script,
not even
basically.
like what are those things? Storyboards.
Usually not.
Yeah, we didn't.
Sometimes they'll see like a character design, but usually that's it.
Yeah.
You're just kind of in a.
Sometimes, depending on the budget of the show and the length of time, sometimes the storyboard artists usually end up, working at the same time. Sometimes, like I can't remember if I don't think we had storyboards.
Yeah,
I
don't think they ever saw it until we started having animatics cut together.
Yeah.
But anyway, for this show at least, we would record the actors, edit together what's called a radio play, which is basically the show without just all audio.
Right.
You even have sound effects and music in there, but it's like listening to an old school radio play. And
That's
then
cool.
that you have storyboarders will create the storyboards, and you cut that on top, and that's your animatic, which is a tool that you can then give to the animators
to guide them a little bit,
on what to animate for each scene. And that way, what's nice is there's just iteration after iteration of the show. So you try to make the radio play work as its own thing and fix any of the kinks, and then you try to make the animatic work as its own thing and fix any. So by the time you're animating, it's like kind of draft 3 of the show, which is a neat way to do it.
Wow. That's interesting to me because I'm not in the scene, but I always thought you were just watching and then acting, reacting, or something.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you add the mouth movements later, but like at least you got something to go by. Yeah. This is just straight up acting.
Yeah.
Straight up acting.
Well, and we also like
theater of the mind.
Yeah. For this, it's all up here. For this show, we didn't get to have all the actors together like some bigger shows like The Simpsons and that. They'll have all the actors in the same room,
and they'll kind of record it almost like a play.
Yeah, and we weren't allowed that luxury, so we had to have each actor record individually.
Okay,
but that's the way a lot of shows of this caliber.
To be honest, every show I've worked on does it that way. It's
the way Bob's Burgers and the Fox stuff, they all have, I think, book all the actors together. But
what's nice is we're there for all of the records, so we kind of know, okay, it needs to feel like this, and this actor did this, so we know that the response has to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
That way we're able to kind of guide it.
That's great. I'm glad it was like that and not just like, hey, here's a MP3 file.
Right. No, that wouldn't work.
We couldn't do that.
We couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And usually John Cena would come to us, but one time we went down to him to record.
Yeah, went down to San Diego. He's got a place in San Diego.
I think he has a
He's got a lot of places.
A lot of places.
Yeah, the guy.
He's John Cena.
He's gonna. I mean,
he's going places.
He's going places. He's definitely going to be in that tier of like The Rock or whatever, highest paid actor.
He's a machine. He's incredible.
Yeah. He just did what is it? Disney, or was it Disney, or it was another animated thing where he was a bull?
Oh, Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Is that Disney or is that like DreamWorks?
No, it was Blue Sky, right?
Yeah, Blue Sky. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely getting into that world of doing voiceover work, and he's He did that Blockers movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's good.
He's in Transformers,
he's
Bumblebee.
Oh my God, that's right, dude! You guys. All right.
I've been told he's not a robot.
Yeah.
So I feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah, we were like, oh no.
He's a robot, isn't he? No, he's not a robot. Oh, thank God.
Thank God. That's great, though, man.
He's only allowed to be our robot.
Yeah.
So you two guys write together. So tell me a little bit about that process for you two, because I like to write as well. I haven't done anything productive, but I like, me and my roommate, we sit there and just crack up and talk shit. And as we're talking, I'm like writing notes down of stuff that that sounded funny. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I just put it in a Google Doc and I never see it again.
Right.
So what is your process?
It's similar. I mean, you do have to talk shit and make each other laugh. That's I think the nice benefit to writing as a team is if something's funny, if the other person's laughing.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've already said no to 10 bad ideas before we even write something down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially like having known each other for as long as we have, like it's definitely will reject 10 jokes.
And there's no ego. Yeah, seconds. There's no like hurt feelings. What about this? No.
And so we can go pretty quickly through that. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. Like I enjoy the collaborative process of that. Trying to make somebody else laugh, and then also like I'm having trouble like with a story beat, and you're not just like in your own mind the whole time.
Yeah.
And then for Dallas and Robo, again, it was a smaller show, so we had our writers' room. We were able to hire one other writer. It was 8 episodes. So Matt and I and Suzanne Kiley, who you would know, she was an actress on Code Monkeys, is how I know Suzanne.
She played Claire.
Yeah, she played Claire on Code Monkeys. She played the receptionist. But like, she's great and like super funny. And she wrote on Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh, that show was fantastic.
Yeah,
too.
And she just wrote the new Leprechaun movie that Sci-Fi's making.
Yeah, Sci-Fi's
There's a new Leprechaun.
That's right. She wrote it,
and she wrote it. And then another movie for Sci-Fi. But
you're forgetting the other person in the room,
Matt
Jenkins,
our
writer assistant Matt Jenkins, who was also incredible.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, so like we had like 4 people in the room, and yeah, I mean it was small, but it was like a little family type thing where nobody was afraid to pitch any joke. Nobody hurt, no hurt feelings with rejection, and no hurt.
The best idea would win.
Yeah,
it wasn't about it's my idea, so it wins.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Our process would be we had we're trying to tell this overarching story through the 8 episodes. Like each episode stands on its own, but there's definitely a story that's happening through the 8 episodes. So we kind of had that planned out, and our process per episode was we would beat out the story, basically figure out what the beats, what needed to happen in the story, and then from there we'd create an outline, which is, for us, our outlines are too long. They're like 10-page documents of just at least just typed
outlines,
out,
like table of contents kind of deal.
Yeah, they're more paragraphs, and they even have dialogue in them. I don't know what we're doing, but anyway,
it's crazy. But yeah, we'll have I would say 10 is.
10 is
don't be embarrassed. They're usually 14 to 16 pages, and and so then we have this thing, and then we like just take the outline and turn it into a script, and it's just like and the script is terrible because it's like most of the dialogue is missing.
Yeah,
the descriptive paragraphs are like super long,
garbage.
Yeah, and they're garbage, and so then it's just taking that and then like refining it.
Yeah, another pro tip is writing is rewriting anyway.
Yeah.
Like if.
Don't get so committed to
100%. Like the thing that used to trip me up the most is wanting it to be perfect when you write it down the first time.
Right.
And it's just not going to be. And if you expect it's going to be perfect, you're not going to write anything. So we always would write the bad version. Just write the bad version.
Yeah.
Just write the bad version. Because rewriting is way easier than writing. You look at something, you go, that's bad. How do you make it better? I can make that better. It's terrible. Look at it. And you can rewrite it. And then you keep iterating until finally, maybe I like it now. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, to bring some similarities or some parallels to music, since it is all that. But it's very similar, what you were mentioning about being in a room and collaborating with people, always, for me, tends to generate the most positive outcomes.
Yeah.
Like, I try to do music on my own, and it's awful. Like, I almost like, this is the worst. And then like I'll listen to it, I'll just delete it. Hours of work. I'm like, nope, gone. And then the moment I sit in a room with someone else, and I'm like, check this out, and then they're like, oh, maybe you should add whatever, this bass line to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with writing, I would assume.
Yeah, it's great when there are people you can trust, and you have that.
Yeah, if they're bringing something else or a different perspective, they can tell you what's good about your thing, and you can tell them what's good about their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always better. I mean, I love people that can do it. Super inspirational. Like, you listen to, even like a band like 9 Inch Nails, it's mostly Trent Reznor's work, but he's collaborating with people.
Yeah.
He's got Atticus Ross and a couple other people in the room. So, like, even though he gets all the recognition, he still has a team. You got to acknowledge that, at least. I think people work best in that way. Like, ego tends to be a very big problem when you're on your own and no one's there to check it for you. And it can get to you.
It never ends well. Like, if anyone ever gets like unchecked, I don't know.
We wrote a little. We all would also break off. We did have eight episodes, and so
we each wrote
one
separately.
And Suzanne wrote one, and then the rest were sort of group writes. But
even in that, it's like, okay, I wrote this. Let's go through it and tear it apart and see what works and what doesn't work, and make it better.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I wrote notes here, and they're all weird. I put like dream gig. So, all right, I guess what I was trying to say was if you were to make another project, obviously right now the only important project is Dallas and Robo.
The dream gig is more Dallas and Robo.
Yeah.
Yes, more Dallas and Robo, 10 seasons hopefully. But if you had another project you'd want to work, do you have something in mind? Something you've been chipping away at? Or is it something that you're when you're in this mode with Dallas and Robo, like you're only writing for that? You're not thinking about anything else?
No, we definitely have other things that you kind of a creative person, someone who works in. Yeah,
especially we're sitting twiddling our thumbs for a few months here, waiting for it to come out.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's about to come out, but you guys that's all been done for months.
Yeah, we finished up in March.
Yeah. So,
there's been little things here and there. Oh, we have to change this one thing, or marketing needs blank. But we've been kind of just.
But we try. We're trying to, always trying to write other things and other shows and to pitch and features and stuff like that. So there's always something that you want to do.
Is there any one specific you want to? Now that you've got John Cena, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. So,
right.
Who would be your next star that you would like to have on a show or something?
What would we like to do? Well, we got to work with Paul Reiser, so that was kind of it for me.
Yeah,
he was kind of my bucket list get. We did a project called Suck It, Gary. For it was on Trip Tank on Comedy Central, and it was. So it was Andy and Dana and myself playing Andy, Dana, and myself. So we were playing like stupid versions of ourselves, and then it's about three idiots like roommates, like Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer,
and one other dumber guy.
Yeah, and one other dumber guy, right? And their unrequited hatred for their neighbor, who's this guy named Gary, and that was played by Paul Reiser.
Yeah,
somehow we got Paul Reiser.
Yeah, that was on a show called Trip Tank on Comedy Central. That was sort of animated sketch comedy.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a lot of it because usually, this is back when I had television. It was put on Comedy Central, smoke a bunch of weed and pass out.
Whatever happens. Yeah. That was what Trip Tank was built for.
Yeah, Trip Tank was made for that. So.
But so we did 10 episodes of that for Trip Tank, each about 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that'd be fun to do as a real series.
Yeah. That was always the plan. So
was to turn it into something bigger.
Yeah, but maybe someday.
And then we'd each like to work in live action. We love animation. I never want to stop working in animation, but it'd be fun. Most of the shows I watch end up being live action, so it'd be fun.
I'd love to do. That was kind of what I wanted to do moving out here. I was inspired by growing up by shows like Cheers and Seinfeld and those type things. So
definitely more television though.
Yeah.
Or series.
I think so.
I love TV series. I also films, but like that's a little bit of a different. Being a writer of a movie, you sort of write the movie and then the director directs the movie.
Yeah, you're not needed anymore. After.
You sort of write the movie and they're like, "All right, great, thanks. This is great. We'll see you at the premiere."
Yeah.
So
the good thing about television is they're stuck with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since you brought up, live action and all that, we haven't mentioned Supercon the movie.
Yeah.
That came out April 27th.
Yeah, that's right. Dana Snyder and I wrote that with Zak Knutson, who wrote and directed it, and Zak's another part of the Smokehouse 7.
I've been blessed with some visits.
Yeah. But yeah, so he, we the three of us. It was during an off time. I think it was you were directing BoJack at the time, and Zak was like, "Hey, these ladies want to make a movie. What do you got?" So we pitched 3 or 4 different movies ideas, and Supercon was Zak's pitch, and they loved that, and so the three of us sort of just pounded out a script in a couple months and one day I get a call and Zach's in New Orleans and they're making the movie. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And so I got to go out to New Orleans and be on set for a week, and it was great. Like, that was a situation where, like, I wrote it and then it took on a life of its own. But, like, fortunately, like, with the producers were so great and Zach's so great that, I was welcome.
Yeah, and you did play 2 roles on it.
Yeah, and they needed warm bodies. So,
yeah.
I did. They let me do like sort of a walk on role. So,
yeah, well, you had a scene with, I forget his name now, the older gentleman.
With
Clancy, yeah.
With Clancy and Mike Epps.
Yeah. In the bus or whatever, the trailer.
In his little trailer. So
and then we did a scene with the stealing stuff at the end of the movie.
Correct. And then so that was a funny thing because like you do those things and like, the scene that I did in New Orleans was cut from the movie. And then, so they were like, "Oh well, we need somebody else for another scene." And so I was like, "Well, yeah,
since you're cut from the movie, we can put you over here.
We can put you in here, and it won't be any big deal." And so I did the other thing, and then that got cut from the movie, but they added the other one back in, and then at the very end is sort of the little robbery thing. So I'm in the background.
Yeah,
at the very end. So I'm technically in it twice.
You're in it twice. Yeah, you had the sweet. Mullet mustache combo.
Yeah, I had my hair grown pretty long, and I was like, "Well, I think I'm going to go for the mullet." And like cut it, and it was like a legit mullet. It was great,
and it went well with. I think you were wearing pink.
Yeah, I was wearing hot pink
with a mustache and a mullet.
You should have kept the mullet longer.
Shoes. I know. It was crazy. It was like
it's not every day you see a legit mullet.
A legit like full mullet, and I got it, and I was worried at first because like I got it, I was like, man, I don't know. This is kind of cool. I don't know if I'm coming off like as an idiot. Like I think it's kind of cool.
I look too good.
I look really good with this mullet.
It's something unique and interesting. Like it's if you get a standard haircut, you just look like everybody else. And if you're in the beer industry, you're just bald and have a beard.
It's required.
Dude, it's so lame. In Florida, there's a guy who was doing the same thing I was doing, selling beer for a brewery. Bald, same size, same weight, same beard, same glasses, and people would confuse us all the time. I'd walk into a bar and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Caesar?" I'm like, "I'm not Caesar, man.
Still not Caesar.
Not Caesar.
Not Caesar, you racist."
Seriously,
that's what I do.
Yeah, we're all the same. Is that what it is?
The same you.
Oh my god,
not cool, dude.
But yeah, so Supercon is out. I was like kind of upset with everyone, even though that's none of yours' call. But like, why the fuck are you releasing it on the day of Infinity War?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I was like, Jesus Christ! And then your post was great. I loved your Facebook post. You're like, yeah, it's always been my dream to release a movie with my friends on the day of the biggest movie in all of Hollywood.
It sets expectations.
Yeah. My other thing I was always saying was like, all right, guys, Infinity War is going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Buy a ticket to Supercon and sneak into Infinity War. I just need the ticket. It came out. It did okay in theaters. Like I think
it was very limited release.
Very limited release. Like 10 theaters sprinkled across the country. But from what I've been told, like it did
for
10 theaters, it did pretty well.
Yeah, and you guys had it had John Malkovich and Mike Epps and Clancy Brown and like. It was a cast,
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, no, I'd like to be, you do something like that and you want it to be like the most popular thing ever. But, it never started out that way. It was me and Zach and Dana like goofing around and making a stupid movie about going to conventions. And so the fact that it got made at all was amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And then the fact that it was in theaters was crazy. And so
I got to go see one of the cuts before. Like they cut out some stuff from the one that I went to.
Yeah.
But even just sitting in the theater, I was just like glowing and laughing the whole time.
That's great.
Because I'm like, look at all my friends doing shit. Yeah. Like this is nuts.
Great. Yeah, it was really neat. We did the audio mix at Skywalker Sound.
Yeah, Dave worked on it, right? Dave Accord?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
I had him on the show.
That's awesome.
and he talked about lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
And, so it was. That was a real treat.
Yeah, man. And you guys can pick that up, by the way, on Amazon Digital.
Ooh, nice.
$9.99. I bought a copy, and they're all my friends. I could have probably gotten a free one. Actually, no, I have a free one, but I still went and I bought
You
it.
have a free one? I don't even have a free one.
I got one of the cuts from Zach.
You have to know people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I had Zach on the show, and he sent me a link for the.
Oh, that's
for the
great.
movie, so. But yeah, I mean, I'm in it as
You're
well.
in it?
That's
That's
another
right.
good reason.
2 scenes as well.
Are you doing hands?
I'm a hand in the
Close-up
beginning
hand
of the
model?
movie.
Yeah.
I'm a hand model in the beginning. Then we're also in the rave scene
Yeah.
with Brooks when he does a bunch of coke, and I'm dancing
How
right
funny
next
is
to him.
Brooks? Brooks is so
Yeah.
funny.
Dude,
Brooks is the best.
I was like, man, Brooks is going to be the breakout star of this movie.
Yeah.
Like he needs people need to see this so they can
know.
understand. And I think I'm a little biased because we know him and we've seen his work at his stage work, and I'm
Yeah.
like, he
But
needs to be seen by more.
Nothing like
Yeah,
Brooks.
there's nothing like
No,
it.
not at all.
And
He's the best.
And it's all real. Like, I mean, he's just this natural performer and just like so naturally funny.
It's
Like,
before it happened, like in the theater, I was sitting next to Zach and I just leaned into him. I'm like, if Brooks doesn't have a fucking song and dance in this movie, I'm gonna get really mad. And he's like, you'll be fine.
you'll be just fine.
You'll be fine. It's right there. Oh man, but that's great. Yeah, so pick it up, Amazon. Pick up, a subscription to YouTube Red and watch Dallas and Robo.
Yeah.
Not just because we're telling you to, but because I guarantee you it's going to be funny, man.
It's good.
It's good.
You guys are hilarious people.
Thank you.
You
We're,
know?
we're proud of it. We're really
Yeah,
we're excited for people to watch it.
And it's not 100% of the time that you like pour so much into something,
And we're not proud of everything we do.
Yeah, and then you like it later.
Yeah.
But we actually like it. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys for taking some time to talk to me today. Are we going to go get beers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
You can have a beer. I know you got kids, but
Yeah, I got kids, but they do like little tiny beers.
tiny beers.
Tiny
For
beers
kids?
for
Beers,
tiny
cute
people
beers.
like Andy.
Yeah, tiny little cute beers.
Cool. Follow you. Do you guys want people following you on the internet?
Sure. Andy Sipes on Twitter.
Yeah, Matt
Okay.
Mariska on Twitter.
Yeah.
Is that your predominant place of existence
I don't
on the
know,
internet?
man.
Yeah,
I'm so
we're
bad
we're
at
just
that.
old.
I'm really
and
bad at
out of
Twitter.
touch.
I'm so bad at
Dude,
Twitter.
I looked the other day. I have 6.5 thousand followers
There we go.
on Instagram,
Okay.
and then Twitter is like 600 people. I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh, what the fuck? I'm doing this wrong.
I got a strong 600 on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
That's the right amount. Like, it's a select crew.
Yeah, it's rough.
Twitter's very depressing these
Yeah,
days.
I don't go-
nothing
I don't
fun
go on
happens on Twitter.
I don't go on it. I just link it to everything else, and then it'll post automatically just so I'm
Sure.
generating content. But I heard that's bad because people know. They're like, nah, fuck that. But anyway, thank you guys. Follow
Yeah.
Andy. Follow you. What was your
Oh,
handle
Matt
again?
Mariska.
That's just your name.
my name.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Super creative.
Super creative.
yeah.
I want to make it easy
Yeah.
with my Czech last name.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Thanks.